Hey everybody, it's a 2008 X-Mine vehicle. Let's have a look at the injector readings. This is actually a bit like deja vu, because yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, we had a vehicle with 196,000 Ks and it was a 2008 120 Prado. Now, this is a 2008 Hilux with about 200,000 Ks as well. So guess what? On the injector readings, you're going to see about the same numbers, aren't you? If they're the original injectors, which they will be. Now, unless the previous owner has said, hey, the injectors have just been replaced, I got an injector kit from Anthony, whatever, then no credit for any injector replacement. It's just probably original, it's what it is, and you're going to need to plan towards replacing those. Now, look, oh yeah, runs great, just like the other one, right? Your car runs fine, doesn't it? You're happy with how it runs? Seems fine, exactly. Let's have a look at the readings and see what they say. Let's have a quick look here. Okay, so the calculate load is now about 16, where when we first started it was about 20, so it has settled a little bit, so that's good. Allergy city today, people, so excuse me with that again. So 16 is kind of a bit, it's pushing towards the limit of their life. Again, depends which vehicle. Don't compare the 150 Prados to these readings. Check our playlist, Diagnostics, for specific information on what's normal and what's not on your Prado or Hilux, whether it's the 05, 06 Hilux or the 06 to 09, or whether it's a 120 Prado or 150 Prado 1K DFTV. Now we'll just slide it down and have a look at all the other readings and see how they compare to yesterday's vehicle. Once again, I'd say this set of injectors, not as bad as the last set, what we saw yesterday, when we'll just call it yesterday's video, although there's another video on that that'll come out tonight, and we'll put this video out tomorrow night, keep it all in fresh videos week. But the injection volume on this one, it was about 10 or something before, 10 or 11, yep, so it's settled a little bit also, so that's all right. Not too bad. They are within range for the normal written specification, but new injectors is going to bring it down around 6 or somewhere around there. So a little bit worn. Now the one we want to look at as well is the individual feedback values, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're not the be all and end all, they're just a small part of the picture, as I said before. But on this one, you can see number 1 at 2.9, so that, and then of course number 3, it's showing that, let's just say, injectors aren't perfect, where a lot of vehicles we check the injectors. If we look at 1, 2, 3, 4, we see really good low numbers, see like number 2, 0. That doesn't mean your number 2 injector's good and your number 1 needs a replacement and stuff like that. It means they're all worn, they're all flogged, but in this case, some more than others, and it's just the ECU correcting, adding and subtracting fuel. So number 1's adding fuel, maybe number 2's the one that's got the biggest problem. Maybe it's putting in a heap of extra fuel, but then probably not either, because it looks more like number 3 and 4 are putting in too much fuel and it's subtracting and whatever, and yeah, whatever. So you get the picture, that's how all that works. But one of the ones I note, if you watch the videos on Diagnostics and in the playlists there in Diagnostics, see Pilot 1, Pilot 2, it's always 430, about 430 on both of those with good injectors. And we've flogged injectors, as you saw on yesterday's video if you watched it, and yesterday and the day before. So just subscribe, turn the bell on, watch the videos in order of what they come out, and then a lot of it will make sense, and then you can do a bit extra homework and go and watch some older videos, 1 or 2 a day, whatever you feel like doing, right? But you would have noticed by now, without me telling you, if you're getting yourself educated, Pilot 2, have a look at it. It is all over the place. Very rare that we see that, and it's just another sign of, you know, 1 minute you're going, oh, these injectors are not too bad, the load's not too bad, the injection volume's not too bad, oh, the feedback values aren't the best, but then we go, Pilot 2 is off its head, because they're always about 430, give or take a little bit. Look at it jumping up to 520. You've been watching it, because, you know, I've been talking while I'm expecting you to watch it. So that's what I'm trying to say. You've got to look at the whole picture, and it's not all about the diagnostic screen. You can base it on averages. We know how long injectors last, ballpark, and we know that at 16 years and 200,000 kilometers, these injectors are flogged off their heads. They're well overdue for replacement, right? So the engine isn't running in peak condition. It seems to be running pretty well because you can see here the corrections are being made to get it reasonable, but it's not going to be like a new set of injectors. Now, main injection period, the normal one that you know it's going to be in the what, 500 to 600 range. If you saw yesterday's videos, you saw the really bad readings and you saw the good readings after we replaced the injectors. So that's great if you saw that. You can see what's going on here. The usual jumping all over the place, up to nearly 800, up 7 something, 800, down to 6. It's up and down all over the place, right? So no surprise there. Well and truly needs injector replacement, this one. Of course, no surprise. Now let's have a look at the fuel pressure and see if we can work out if it's got a long or short suction control valve without going to check it on the engine yet. I haven't looked yet, so I don't know. But looking at this suction control valve, everybody knows by now the short one. There's a push type and a pull type. The short one, the compact one, it is rubbish. Check the suction control valve. There might be a playlist on that. Check the suction control valve playlist. But this one seems to be operating okay. So if I was a betting man, I'd say this must have a long one in it. It's been replaced, or the pump's been replaced at some stage. It's an ex-mine vehicle. They often get a lot of work because they have a lot of problems. Good chance it's had work done on it. Maybe the injectors were replaced at low kilometres for whatever issues it may have had, and you know, they're due again well and truly, but they could be original. The only way to know is when we get them out, we have a look at the serial numbers and we can work out the manufacture date, month and year. But looking at that target 35,000 and the actual fuel pressure is actually pretty good. So let's go under the bonnet shortly and have a look and see if it's got the long or short one, and then you'll know if you haven't got a long one, that's what you want. And there's really nothing else that exciting to see here, so let's get on with the rest of the vehicle inspection. Okay, so quick look around under the bonnet. Let's go straight for that SCV first to see what we see. Look, it's got the long one, hey? Who would have guessed that from the diagnostics? Well, anybody that watches the diagnostic videos would guess that. So it's an ex-mine vehicle. You can see the red stains are in, you can see the corrosion, you can see the odd sort of white marks, you know. Look, maybe there's some residue of coolant that just needs to be washed off. I don't know. First time I've seen this vehicle. It's just here for an annual inspection. It's good if you're doing your own servicing, save some money and all that, get it done right, because a lot of people can't do things right. But as I've said, it's probably good to bring the vehicle about once a year or something like that, to have someone like myself have a look over it and give you a bit of an idea what needs to be done and point you in the right direction on maintenance, that sort of thing. But of course, keep watching the videos. Bit of oil there on that valve cover. Had someone post up yesterday talking about a bit of oil. It was even less than that. But if it's just a sweat, look, don't worry about it too much. It's not worth stressing about. But that's just, it is a bit of a minor leak. It's running down it's getting a bit of free corrosion protection down at the side of the block there and everything. So there is a bit going on. We'd have to pull the intercooler off to work it out, but it could be, because it's a mine vehicle. Oh no, valve cover, come on, have a look at that bolt. Remember those ones with the rusty bolts at the back corner there that, hang on, I'll try and get it to focus. You know, we've had 2 of them so far on mine vehicles that, you know, lucky that one's got some oil on it. That might help with, you know, it coming out. But look, you'd have to get the cover off, you know. It could be the gasket's gone hard because it's a mine vehicle, because it's 16 years old. But these rocker cover gaskets generally don't leak. I don't see them leaking. It's normally the top seals, or, you know, it comes down to people not doing things right, long story short. But looking at the top seal here and all the other areas that I can see, looking above, I can't see the oil coming down from up the top. So in this case, if it's not a cracked valve cover, which you don't know, but it doesn't look like it, because normally they're cracked at the back, you'd see it there. So it could actually just need a gasket, which is all part of the injector replacement job. It can be if people have been servicing overflowing oil here onto the valve cover and then it runs down. So that's the other consideration, right? To look, it doesn't look like that's happened. See, it's dry there, it's around the valve cover. But if, you know, the owner's doing servicing and knows that they might have spilt some oil there, then don't go jumping into oil leaks, whatever. Give it a good wash down. What I'll be doing this, get the plastic cover off. It has got pick-apart bolts on it because, you know, missing bolts, they get replaced with what you've got at the time. And but I'd recommend you just grab 5 bolts from Toyota. They're about $3 each. That's these ones I'm talking about. I call it pick-apart, see, because you've got that one, nuts and bolts combination, whatever they are. On the Hilux, there's 2, you know, the nuts with the heads on them, whatever you call those. Anyway, just having a bit of a look around. It's got an aftermarket drive belt I don't like the look of. Probably time for some, you know, bearings in the pulleys and that. You know, really injector job, BFE job is giving it the basic love it needs. When you install the electrical, just put the wire around this way or cut a little bit out the side of the plastic so you can get that on. Important to keep that covered so you don't have any short circuits, particularly to the dipstick. Bring the battery across to the side of the vehicle. We've got about probably 50 mil there, space that we don't need. We really want to bring that across to get this battery away from the heat of the engine. It'll last longer, gets out of the way of things, looking down there, working on things, inspecting things, and of course supports the battery better, because you can see the battery, a third of it's hanging over the edge past the steel there, so there's no support under this end of the battery underneath that, so definitely needs to come across a little bit. So we'll keep looking around, try and find some more things. Let's have a look underneath it, and then we'll continue and see what else we can find, and hopefully give all you people that can't bring your vehicles in for a vehicle inspection an idea of what you need to keep an eye out for, so you can monitor it yourself. All right, let's have a bit of a look around and see what we can find here. Ooh, a bit of a split steering rack boot. That's unusual, but there it is. I'll be getting that boot on there ASAP. We'll check for play with that. I've got a light in one hand and a camera in the other, so I can't really do any of that at the moment. We'll just do a bit of a visual. The CV shafts look okay. Bit of a split in that little boot there too. Wouldn't be too worried about that, but they might have picked that on roadworthy type things usually. Well, they normally would anyway, just to annoy you, to sell you some work, but it's not a big deal. Let's just keep an eye on it. From here, that one looks similar. Right, so link pins they are. I'll just get genuine ones. I've seen people put aftermarket ones, the bolts come loose, and no drama anyway. No time for drama on the trips and the tracks. Someone's replaced that, at least that zip tie on the inner, so maybe that boot got replaced. It could be an aftermarket one. Again, I'll just use genuine boots. The mining area really gives everything a really hard time, so if there's a lot of wear and tear on this vehicle or things deteriorated that you wouldn't normally see, yeah, it's the environment, right? Look at these tyres. Let's just have a look. Definite lack of rotation because the back ones are flat and there's a bit of tread left. Let's compare with the other one as well. And then we'll get to the front and talk about what's going on there, because they're quite worn and there's reasons for that, but rotating the tyres evens it out. Where in this case, you're going to need, if you're going to change, unless you're going to get the exact same tyres, and these are made in, I wouldn't be getting these tyres, whatever. What are they? Right. Crosslander AT. No, I wouldn't be getting those, which means you got to get 4 tyres, but you've still got some rubber left here. But let's just go to the front, stay on that one for a minute. See this one, there's a bit of tread in the middle, but see the edges are quite worn down, and the inner sides there's no tread there. So tyre rotations are important to avoid circumstances like this. So you at least need to check your tyres, right? See on the outside edges, there's nothing left. There's a bit in the middle. So there could be a few things going on here. The front struts could be bouncing around a bit, not the best. There could be play in the wheel bearings, could be a bad wheel alignment, could be a number of things. Could be play in that steering rack that's, you know, broken over there. So having a bit of oil around, a bit of rust prevention is not too bad. Just wondering where that oil's coming. It could be coming all the way from that valve cover, so always start from the top. It's good that I've walked down the length of the vehicle and I haven't really picked anything yet, but the 4-speed auto, pretty grubby, but just because it's dirty doesn't mean much. It's been in some mud and dirt out there. I'd be giving that a really good clean up, because that's absolutely bloody filthy, isn't it? You know, a good soaking, a lot of water might dissolve a lot of all that mud. That's just never had a really good clean. So lots of water up over the top of that, degreaser, a soaking type bath, you know, not necessarily heaps of pressure. Careful what you do with the pressure, and you can't really get a pressure washer up in and around there. Even if you did it on the hoist, it's only going to hit the bottom. What about up the top? So lots of water, soaking, give it a bath. Let's have a look at what's going on here with the oil around the turbo. Maybe some of those gaskets have got some minor weeps, but I wouldn't say anything to worry about too much. At the moment, it needs a really good clean up so you can see what's going on. You can see up the top there, it's wet as well. That valve cover we already talked about, that's probably what's coming up over the bell housing here down to the bottom. It could all be from the valve cover just coming down. It's very minor. You can see there's no drips at the bottom. It's not like a massive oil leak. 1KDs don't leak oil. 16 years old. with the old gasket, maybe a week, but there's no drips here, which is bloody good. So I'm just still looking around. Let's say not too much. This is very open. There should be a plate that goes under here from the bull bar to there to sort of give a bit of protection to your radiator here, because that is your radiator. And, you know, off-road, you could get some sticks and something go up there. So if there's not a standard plate with this Toyota bull bar, which I can't remember because I don't have one, I'd probably be making something up that you could mount on the bottom into this steel here that at least comes across, even if it doesn't connect, just like some sort of protection to deflect things downwards. Anyway, something to think about. All right, I think we'll wrap this one up. We need to get hands-on and have a bit of a feel of a lot of these components. Maybe come back to you with more video if we find anything. But other than being quite grotty, that we can't see through the staining, and I know the red's going to stay there as much as you wash it. It's going to stay red, but the thick stuff, the dirt can come off. You can spray products on to help clean and rust prevention and stuff like that. But I can't really see anything else. I mean, these Gabriels, they're not leaking. I don't know what they ride like. I didn't bounce it yet, but maybe they're a bit flogged at the front, and that could be part of it. We'll pull these boots off and have a look at the brake shoes as well. But look, there's really, considering, you know, the environment it's been in, a bit rough around the edges, but it's not too bad. So there's some of the things to keep an eye out for. Check out the playlist, Vehicle Service Inspection, if you want to have a look and learn what to look out for on these vehicles. But this one, as we already discussed, catch you in the next video.